What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mint Hunter Comics, and today we're talking about why you really shouldn't worry so much about those FOMO books. FOMO means fear of missing out. Talking about books that just explode and get out of your price range real fast. So whether you're just joining the hobby or you've been in the hobby for years, you either know or need a reminder of one very basic fact. Books go up and books come down. We literally just saw one of the biggest booms in this particular collecting hobby that we've ever seen, really. One of at least the fastest incline, and every book was affected. Every book went up in value. And things have come crashing down. There's something called market correction, and the books have a natural sense of value. If a book's worth $500 and explodes into the $2,000 range, it's going to probably come back to or come close to the 500 range yet again. I'm going to give you an example. Amazing Spider-Man 252, that first black suit cover, gorgeous copy, 9.8s for the longest time were like $450, $500. It exploded, it reached $2,000. I think the newsstand went over $3,000 at one point. Just absolutely crazy. And now it's settled down significantly. It's still not quite back at the $500 value, but it's close and it's getting there. Some books actually are lower than their 2018 counterparts, most notably the first appearance of Carnage. Used to be, once again, like a $500 book. It exploded. Again, the newsstands, I think, hit close to $2,000. It came crashing down, and I know someone who just grabbed a 9.8 direct edition for $300. And part of that is that we're in a recession. And no, don't put in the comments that we're not in a recession. Shut up. I lost my job. I have cousins that lost their job. Everyone around me is losing their job. We're in a recession. Stop saying we're not. The price of eggs is like the price of an omnibus. Stop. We're in a recession, and it could get worse, could get better. We don't really know. This isn't going to happen all the time, but especially during recessions, books are extra prone to shrinking. So a lot of books have been shrinking, honestly, lower than I think where they should be. It's been a little bit more than just market correction. I'd say like 6, 7, 8 months ago, things corrected. Now some things have actually overcorrected and gone too low. So when you talk about FOMO and fear of missing out, whether it be a book that was released 2 weeks ago and you just realize that you missed that train, or whether it be a 9.8 that you've had the finger on the trigger forever and it just exploded, it'll come down. Especially with DC recently just got a little bit of a spotlight, finally a chance for DC books instead of just Marvel. But we saw what happened with Marvel, right? The movies came and went, or the video game or show came out and whatever, it's gone, and the book sunk back down to pretty much around what it was before. There are obviously examples where it is still higher, but it's not going to be at that peak high of that FOMO moment. So what you'd want to do is, when a book explodes, ignore the impulse to, holy crap, this $150 book's $500, I have to get it right now. Slow down. Try submitting the book yourself if you want to get it, or just realize that I'm going to try to buy that in 6, 7 months when it's back down maybe into like the $200 range. More often than not, that is what happens. I'd say if I were to put a percent on it, maybe more than 90% of the time, the books that explode do come down. You want to talk about coming down, you got to mention Ultimate Fallout 4. People were spending over $3,000 for this. I just saw a sale go in at $1,500. That's more than half of a drop from the highs in 2021. The market corrects itself, and if there's a good amount of the stuff that exists out there, those crazy highs can't last. Simple economics. You can't have a ton of supply and a ton of demand. But watch out for actually rare books, like things from the Golden Age or really low print runs that there simply aren't that much of. Those are the ones where the FOMO might get you a little bit, where a book does go up and it is a little harder to come down just because it is rare, and you're really not going to find that many of them out there. I know a lot of people were upset with the recent DC news, and they're not able to get their hands on a Batman 655. or a lot of people just saw that Wakanda 4, which is the first cover appearance, I believe. I could be way wrong. I'm not up to date with my new books. First cover of Tosin, and I think his first love interest or something like that, and it's an entire one-shot surrounded by that character. And a lot of people missed it. And we literally saw this all happen, right? We saw books explode. What's that one Legends of the Dark Knight one? I think it's Legends, where the T-Rex on the cover or whatever. That book got to crazy heights, and now you can buy it almost as normal as any other slab. I was, about a month ago, I was looking at a collection, and a guy brought his other collecting friend who was talking to me, and he invested heavily in those ratio variants. And I'm going to say something here that I said to him, and it occurred to me that maybe I don't say this enough on the channel. If it seems in any percent gimmicky, it's probably not going to hold its value, and maybe you shouldn't be paying a super ridiculous premium for it. I literally said all this in the early years of my YouTube channel while these crazy 1 in 100 variants were blowing up and people were spending $500 on them. I said, you're not going to recoup that money. You will never, ever, ever, ever see those prices get anything remotely back to the price that you paid for that. And I was right. Do I like being right? Obviously not. That sucks for those people. And there's a lot of people that put a lot of money into the wrong thing. They got that FOMO bug and they dove in headfirst to an empty pool. To be honest, I've seen a lot of claim sales and it's hard to even sell those ratio variants for even 10 bucks. You heard that right, 10 bucks. Unless you can't live without it, it's the most gorgeous thing ever, or it fits your personal collecting needs, I would really not look at it as a financial investment. Anything gimmicky is a gimmick. I'm joined here today by a not gimmicky book. This was a nice little underrated key. No one was really picking up the Exiles run. There are less of this book out there than a typical Spider-Man or an X-Men run, let's say. Exiles 3 is the first full appearance of Peggy Carter as Captain America. Not Captain Carter, but Captain America. Obviously, after the Doctor Strange movie came out, the book had a nice little healthy bump there. Healthy. Not fake, but healthy bump. And as you expect, the movie's gone and done, and it's had a healthy drop down. And I believe this book is still more valuable than before the movie came out, but it has shrunk significantly. It is now a more affordable 9.8 to get that has some nice key significance. This is an example of a healthy up and healthy down that you might see when it's a comic book that's surrounded by movies or shows. Unhealthy would be people spending $2,000 on M&M Spider-Man covers. What are you doing? Come on, you know better, you do! Hey, you know what? Prove me wrong. I hope that book turns into a $10,000 book in a couple years, but since that's not gonna actually happen, I'm thinking a lot of people plug their money into the wrong thing on that one. Or at least I hope they are massive die-hard M&M collectors. I actually know an M&M collector, and even he laughed at those prices. You just gotta be smart and just remember that anything that's flashy and gimmicky is probably flashy and gimmicky. And when it comes to books that are nice, healthy keys, there is gonna be a bump when some sort of news drops. It's fine, it's normal. Don't scramble to get it. If you can, go on eBay and see if you can get it for the normal prices before they shoot through the roof. But if you can't, just wait. Sometimes you just have to wait 6 months to a year and the book's back to normal. Sometimes you gotta wait 3 or 4 years, but just know that it's probably coming back down. Usually that is the case. Understand the difference between something that might actually be rare. Again, I bring up the Golden Age. Golden Age books go up. They don't often come back down. So there is a time and a place where FOMO can be real, but a lot of times it's being plugged into the wrong stuff. Watch out for the real things out there, the real things that give you joy, and don't forget to collect for the reasons that you love to collect and not so much for a financial gain. Often when you do, you could fall on your ass. If you do want to try to make some money in this hobby, which I do encourage you to do, you just need to be smarter about what you're plugging your money into. I had 3 copies of Batman 655-98. I sold them all for $300. That book is significantly higher now. I have 4 copies of Legends #1, all in 9.8. I've only sold 1, and that one also has a premium now. I bought those at a really good time when they were dirt cheap, and that ended up working for me. So you can be smart about things, you can use some things to your advantage, but also understand while those prices shoot up, they will come down. So also, if you've got books that are really hot, I actually do recommend you sell them because they're not going to be the same price in a year. I'm not a future teller though, so we will have to see. Maybe I am proven horribly wrong on many of these books. After all, DC is a little bit of a different animal than Marvel. Maybe the speculation with DC behaves differently than how it does with Marvel. We don't know. It kind of depends on the quality of the products that get put out. James Gunn, hope you do some good for us. We eagerly await to see what you've got in store. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next video and keep on hunting.